Hello, good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? This is Yafoda Tobra, otherwise known as Auntie Ya, and I welcome you to Auntie Ya's Book Corner this morning. I hope you had a great week. My co-host, Ya Boatma Boating Russell, is not able to be with us today due to circumstances beyond her control. So I'm going solo today. If she's able to, she may pop in, but at this point in time, I'll just be going solo. So, what I usually do is that I share what programs we do on this platform. So, we do our Saturday Facebook Lives, then we do um, beauty lessons with your favorite auntie. That is from my second book, The Beauty of a Woman's Heart, which you can get on Amazon. And then we do Own It with your own ornithologist and Queen of Own It. So Own It is an Amazon international best-selling book, and I'm an Amazon international best-selling author. It's a guide to taking accountability and responsibility for your own life journey. And then there's Reflections from my Thirsty Soul, my first book. So I do snippets from this book called Reflections. As well, I have a question of the day. I just posed a question. Like yesterday, the question that I asked was, how was your week? So we interacted based on that. As well, there's Auntie Yaa'S Nuggets. I share any nuggets that applies to daily life and my insights about it. There's Pearls of Wisdom. It's also a passage from the Bible, and I put my I put out my take on it or how I interpret what I've read and share based on that. There's also a word with you. It's a little clip of less than a minute, a nugget from the Bible that you take along with you for the day. In addition, there's my unapologetic self. That is my fifth book that will be coming out this year, and I've been sharing little clips less than a minute long about it. More recently, I started Auntie Yaa'S Book Club, which is a book read, and I did some videos a few weeks ago. I'll be continuing this coming week on my unapologetic self. Last but not the least, there's Auntie Yaa'S Own It Academy. We provide book publishing services. Do you have a story that needs to be told? You think other people's stories are more interesting than yours, but there's something that somebody is waiting to hear about from you. So you have to get to it and write your story. Contact us and we'll help you with that. We also provide life coaching. If you need direction, some aha moments to get you going, or you are stuck, contact us. We also do women empowerment. Women have been put in a narrow box of sorts. And more recently, when you look across social media, especially in our community, you find that women are getting put down, disrespected a lot. In 2023, is that the way that we want to go to? Look at the progress going on around the world, and we are stuck. So, yes, certainly women empowerment is something that is very necessary. As well, you may look for my other two pages, Beauty for a Woman's Heart and All for His Glory. So, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share two groups, and then we can continue with the program. So, give me a sec. I'm just going to be quiet while I do that because, as I've said, talking will make you put something in groups where people do not necessarily want to see you. So, yeah, actually, there's not too much. That was quick and fast. So, there, I finished my sharing. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold, so I have to be sniffling here and there. Give me a sec. There's just one place that I need to send this to. Okay, so last week we started a new series, Demystifying. Uh, Here it is, some cultural and religious myths. And we started with, is marriage and childbirth a badge of honor for women? So throughout that discussion, it became apparent that we needed to be speaking a little bit about marriage. Most certainly, I will clarify or put this disclaimer out. I'm not a marriage expert. My marriage is not perfect. I've never said that it is. But we have some preconceived notions in our minds, or we tend to think that marriage should be a certain way. And so we may be looking at our marriages and thinking, oh, why is it not like so and so and so's? But there's something also called the social media effect. Everything looks lovely. People are engaging. You see the women in their nice clothes dancing and shaking it up and all that. But could it be that maybe sometimes there's some potential red flags that we didn't look at? We just want to be married? I don't know. The whole area, in fact, I've done a lot of Facebook Lives, and I've never gone into the area of marriage because I'm not an expert. My marriage is not perfect, so I never wanted to talk about it, but there's just things that you can't get away from. People, or the opinions that we had was resounding that we need to. So today, we are going to talk about, do we understand the requirements of marriage? That is today's subtopic under Demystifying Some Cultural and Religious Myths, which is our series. Yes, and when with this series, I'm talking with specific reference to my background and where I come from, people in my community. So it may not be relatable to you if you are not from my community. It's an African community. Yes. So the title today, do we understand the requirements of marriage? And let's see, it's 11 o'clock. Maybe by 11:20 or thereabouts, I'll put the link in to invite people if they want to come on and share their opinions. Just give me a sec. There's somebody that I forgot to, let me go look for them to notify. So it's definitely not, marriage is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing, yes. But if you rush into it without knowledge, you pay for it. Okay, so let's get started. The question that I want to ask is, are we really prepared for marriage? You know, I'm laughing because there's something to be said about experience. Yes, if I know today, if I knew way back when what I know today, maybe I would have made some different choices. We live and we learn. That is experience, yes. So, do we understand the requirements of marriage? The first thing is there has to be love. But I'll qualify before we get into it. I'll qualify that love by itself will not hold a marriage because love can fly out the window at any time. So if you don't love somebody, what happens? When love flies out, if you're not careful, hate will come through the window. People just walk away because they go, oh, I don't love you anymore. Those can be very flimsy excuses. Would you agree with me? So, yes, you can't just go and get married to somebody because they are rich or because your parents said you should. A lot of decisions are being made for some of us and we don't speak up. It is not your family who's going to marry that person. It's you who have to go live in that house. So maybe you are in a situation where it's not the very best for you, but you are sticking up with it because family decided that, oh, you should. And let me put some of these things out in my language tree. In your chrome or here chrome poverty, whatever, a lot of this becomes factors. You find yourself, you'll be pushed to go marry a rich man because that rich man is providing for the family. Is that love? but you have no say. Because in our communities, women don't really have a voice. Those who say they do, when certain situations come up, they don't speak. So are we going forward or are we coming backwards? I don't know. So I'll move on to the next point. Commitment. We need to have commitment. It's a promise to keep loving each other, standing with each other, bearing each other up. Are you committed? Look at yourself, look at your life, everything that you do, every aspect of your life. Are you committed? Are you a person who values commitment? I value to, I promise or I've made a commitment to honor this person, stay with them, love them, this and that. Are you willing to go for the long haul? Let me tell you an interesting story. I had a family member who worked in the health field, and she always used to say that she really admires Abrofo people, you know, because when they have a sick spouse, the way they pay attention to the spouse, you'll find a husband combing the wife's hair in the hospital, being so attentive to them. Mikrom for when you are sick on your bed, if you are lucky, depending, like sometimes we can be so heartless. So will the man even come and visit you? And there'll be another woman on the side waiting to step into your shoes. Yeah. So commitment, we have to really think about it. Is this person really there for me? I'll go to the next one, effective communication. Do we talk? Listen, the way we were raised, this is what I know. Men are the kingpins. They are 10 gods, depending. Nowadays, hello, Tony Abrantia, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Men are the 10 gods, kingpins, right? So depending, but like I was saying, the younger generation, there are men coming up who are more understanding and willing to, nurture a good relationship with women. But generally, the way our men have been raised, their arrogance, their homasu, so effective communication, you're going to question me. This is what I say and this is what goes. You have no say. We have a lot of that. And even just the way some even speak to their wives. And it could be the other way. Wives also speak a certain way. I'm not saying the men are all to blame, but this is a cultural thing. The title here is Demystifying Some Cultural and Religious Myths. In our culture, men are held up in high esteem. A lot of times when you go into marriage settings, it's the woman who's spoken to. You have to learn how to cook. You have to know how to do this to please a man. Otherwise, this, that. But in very few families, there's places now that men also are told, learn to cook, because you could also end up with a wife you don't want. You only like her because of her cooking skills, but maybe she doesn't really match up to you. And so you will end up having a miserable life as well. So communication, being able to speak to each other freely. You see, we are not a community given to speaking truth. We don't like it. So if somebody speaks truth to you, oh, they are troublesome. Oh, because they said something in that doesn't agree with you, they are your enemy. Hello, Sister Queer. How are you? I hope you are doing well and your week was good. Thanks for joining us. So communication is not something that we know. Communicate? No, I'll tell you what to do. You are supposed to do this, this, this. And so in some marriages, it's like a battlefield. The man is the big shot. If you don't listen to him, there's problems. But in places where it's give and take, I talk, you talk, we agree, or we agree to disagree respectfully, honoring each other. So all these things that we are talking about are things that individuals need to have worked on by themselves before coming into a relationship. So even before the marriage relationship, you'll be speaking about some of these things and noting the red flags. Does he get angry when you express your opinions? That maybe you better run. Yes. We are told of these myths that sometimes you need to do something to make your spouse, your intended or your would be very angry. just do something and see how they'll react, and that should tell you. But I don't know if that is also effective, but I've heard those kinds of stories. Communication is a big thing. Do we know how to speak with one another? Do we know how to joke around? Yes. Hello, Sister Ajua. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah. And also, there has to be patience and forgiveness. Some of us, we are like, if you have come on, we started a series next week, demystifying some cultural and religious myths. Our first topic last week was, is marriage and childbirth a badge of honor, the only badge of honor for women? After that program, the feedback was that we should talk a little more about marriage. So today's topic is, do we understand the requirements of marriage? And I started, are we really prepared for marriage? So I've talked about love, commitment, trust, effective communication, and I've gone on to patience and forgiveness. So, are we patient? Are we able to forgive? Sometimes things happen and then a girl person will say, about blaming, will be like dragging it instead of talking. You know, the Bible says that do not let the sun go down on your anger. So if there's a problem with you and your spouse, you talk and you try to solve it. Don't let it fester and go to bed asleep. And 2 weeks, there are some men, if you do something 2 weeks, they won't be talking to you. Those things are not maturity. And then, of course, we the women, this is my opinion, we've been groomed that our area is our end all and be all. So you see a woman shaking, hey, he's not talking to me. What should I do? Hey, blah. And then we're ending up jumping through all kinds of hoops to get the man back on track because we think we alone are responsible for maintaining a marriage. Yes, it is not up to you. It takes two to tango. There's you, and then there's the other person. They also need to man up. They need to woman up. They need to pull up their socks and work with you. If you are in a situation where you are the only one responsible for the relationship, my friend, you need to do some deep thinking and figure things out. Is anything going to change, or do you want to just get on with your life and live your life? The decision is yours. And I'm not sitting here advocating that, oh, boom, go and leave the person. But you know, you have only a small window of time. Do you know how long you're on this earth for? Are you going to sit there and let a man or a woman make your life miserable because you are married to them? Does he breathe for you? Do you breathe for him? Sometimes you need to take some decisions so that you can have a healthy mind and live your life. You got to be happy. I'm sorry, in our community, we are taught, oh, you are selfish, be therefore. We think too much of people's opinions and we feel that we have to do for others and we forget ourselves. And a lot of women are not happy. And some men too, they are going through a lot. So the other factors in marriage are selflessness. You need to be selfless. There are times that it's called for. You know, you are there for each other. You say you love each other. There's certain things you should be willing to do for each other. And there has to be respect on both sides, man to woman, woman to man. We have different dynamics where, depending what the money situation is in the household, then somebody gets the upper hand and they're trampling on the other person. That's a no, 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 no. You know, I've seen my abrofo people where they make a decision that the woman is the stay at home because of the kids. They don't want to be sending kids to babysitters or daycares and all that. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week in the evening, the mother will go out and do some work, but she has a say in what is happening with the finances, yes. But with us, when it comes to you want to stay home and do what? The family members back home will come and say, hey, the woman is sitting over there and the man is looking after, and all kinds of things. But you need to come to agreements on some of these things. Respect. You know, this is why we say, a woman, you shouldn't think marriage is you only work with your 2 hands and your respect. It's just obvious. If only one person is bringing money in, it gets to a point they are frustrated with you, they are not happy with you, and you see it in their behaviors. If you're a woman and a simple thing is going to ask your man for money to go buy parts, it's a problem. The child needs a snack, or wait till your dad comes home and you go and ask him. Be resourceful. Find ways to create money so that you don't need to go ask a man for money all the time. Sister Joy says most couples do not have understanding, nor do they have knowledge of the requirements of marriage. Most are more inclined to learn negativity, such as settling for less, unnecessary competition, comparison, defaming, and labeling. And it goes on. The thing is, a marriage is between two people. You need to be really careful who you take your stuff out to. There's people in our community, look, I have to put it bluntly, we have some devious people, and maybe they even envy you. But when you open your mouth and go make a negative claim about your marriage, that's the opportunity they use to come and feed ideas into your mind. And if you are not discerning and you are not wise, you listen to their advice. And before you know it, you've wrecked your relationship and you are the same as them. And I'm not saying that because they are single, they are bad people. No. Or I'm not saying that marriage is a status, but there's certain things in marriage that is not a big deal. It happens in every marriage. So it's just the maturity to be able to talk it out and solve it. Everything is not a World War II. The simple things, you handle it. It's the little, what is it? The little foxes or whatever. There's some quote in the Bible, I forget what it says. Hello, Miss Sage. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us. Sister Joa says some people get married for starters. And then Tony says it will surprise you to know that some men are jealous in capital letters of their wives in African homes because they think women are limited to the kitchen. So every woman trying to fulfill her dreams and purpose are a threat to her husband in African homes. The husband will begin to question the wife's success and all that. I mean, where from that? Very good point, Tony. That is so true. It's very, very true. And it's sad. Like I always ask the question, so what happened? And I don't know, maybe I'm generalizing based on where I live, but what happened to our men or men from the cultures like the developing countries? Like there seems to be a big thing, male ego. Oh, it's so fragile. Like we're so, just because of the way the raising was done. It's unfortunate. Yeah. So the other points, and I'll go through them quickly. I see it's at almost, let's see, I have to put out the link soon. So there's, what do you call it? There has to be friendship. Yes, you can't marry a stranger, marry your friend. Finances need to be discussed. Kids, how many kids are we going to have? And then also you as an individual, you should be big egos. Hello. Is that Reverend? Is that Bishop? I mean, thanks for joining us. Please let me know who you are. And let's see. You as an individual, you need to better yourself, learn some life skills. Don't come to the marriage thinking that notion we had in the past of, oh, or man or sure, but men, as for in our culture, is the man who looks up. No, those days are over. It could have happened in the old days, but ask your mom how she felt. If you knew how she felt, you wouldn't want to follow that pattern. Be resourceful. And then also learn life skills, like I said, and you need to be able to stand alone. I'm going to harp on this point. Your partner does not complete you. Listen, you can be madly, deeply in love. But those times when there's a little friction between you, yes, you are separate. So learn to stand alone. Don't be the type of woman who will say, if this person doesn't do this, I'll do this to myself. Or the type of man who says, oh, if I can't have you, nobody can. Learn to stand alone, even though you are in a relationship. Look, it is a head and heart matter. Sometimes you need to let the head work, because we get so overtaken by emotions and we are doing all kinds of things. Yes. Tony says it will surprise you to know that some organizations and big companies are sidelining women to acquire bigger business positions because of the mindset about women. yentiti no mano or the old ways now. That is bad. That is really, really sad. It's unfortunately, you know what? So I've said a lot. I've just gone through this portion here. Are we really prepared for marriage? No, do we understand the requirements of marriage is the topic? So are we really prepared? So some of the factors that you have to look at. And then I'm going to the next. So I'm going to put the link. Let's see. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and if you want to come on and share your opinion, but I'm going to this next topic here. Paste, okay, come on, paste. So, what is your vision for your life? And will marriage help you to accomplish it? Let's talk. You know, a lot of times we are raised, we are just walking on the way. We are funny matra. We don't think too deeply beyond anything. Okay, for me, I'll say this. When I was young, this is what I used to say. Maybe it stayed with me. That's why I like traveling and going to different places when I have money to do it. I used to say that I want to be an air hostess because you sit in a plane and travel, or to be a diplomat. Because when I was a young girl, I think it was primary school, I saw two women. Yes. One was the ambassador to Holland, and the other was ambassador to Liberia. I think Mrs. Obechebe Lamte and Mrs. Amononis or something. And I was so fascinated. I'm like, wow, yes. So if you ask me what was my vision, that's what I was thinking, right? But things changed along the way. So the question that I'm going to ask is, who are you? Do you have a plan, a goal, or a vision for your life? Don't go into marriage without knowing what you want out of life. By the time you are hitting marriage, you should know your plan for your life, so that in the talking, that's why I said, don't be so hard, lovey, 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 you forget. Let's say you're a nurse, and then you are talking to your husband to be your boyfriend, and he goes, oh, as for me, this your work cry, 12-hour shifts and this and that. How is that going to help us? Me, I want my wife to be home when I come, so that they will have food for me and cook for me. And then you in your, then maybe I'll stay at home then. And then you just give it up like that. Look, a progressive man should be saying, I see you are in this area. What are your goals for the future? How can we make this work? This is what I can do in light of your work schedule. I've put the link in the chat. If you want to come on and offer your opinions, you're welcome to do so. Right. So you talk about these things. It's not, the expectation shouldn't be somebody should just readily give up something to satisfy somebody's ego, or a woman to demand of a man that, oh, your work makes you travel, so me, I can't, or this or that. Then yeah, if you can't, then you really can't. You let him know and you walk away and let him find somebody who can accommodate. It's the back and forth. You need to talk about a lot of things. Yeah. Oh, wow. No wonder why you are just awesome, mommy. These two women were just awesome, though. Some of us couldn't meet them, but we heard so many things about them. Oh, thank you, Tony. No, I was so fascinated with them. I'm like, oh, wow, like, yeah. When you see women doing well, I don't know why some of us women, we don't know how to be happy because how do I put it? The barriers, the limitations, the blockades are so many that when you see somebody doing well, you go, wow, this is so awesome. Look at them. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Yeah. So what is your vision? Does your vision fit into the marriage? Maybe you are a teacher, and maybe you have this goal of you want to become a school principal, but you only have your BA, and you want to go do your MEd and all that to get higher, and so You need to speak up and tell the man what your plans are. He will tell you his plans too. An open-minded, progressive, loving husband will say, okay, this is how we'll do it. You're going to be doing this for 2 to 5 years. This is how I can help you. These are the things that I'll be doing. So you talk and you speak. But if you don't, everything, you see, because we're raised with timidity. So a lot of times we won't speak up. We are so fascinated. Oh, we become like our friends. We've also got a man. Oh, this and that. Oh, everything will work out. And then you don't speak up and you go into the marriage and then you come into a shock. Do your speaking up before. Look, matters of the heart, it hurts. Sometimes your heart will be broken. You love somebody very much, but as soon as you bring forth your goals, they are not willing to accommodate you. You need to think carefully, because if you don't and you follow this person, you'll be miserable for the end of time. So if you're a woman, are you content for your goals to take a backseat to the marriage, taking care of her business, taking care of the kids and all that? Is that what is expected of you in life? Let me remind you of something. A lot of us, especially where we are from, yeah, Christopher Mappa, right? So, does the Bible tell you that marriage is your destiny? All I know is that everybody has a purpose. God put a purpose in you when He brought you on this earth. It doesn't matter that you're a man or a woman. It's only in our community that men sell women short. You are not there just to be cleaning up and cooking after a man. Those are things that need to be done. We just do it as a matter of course. It's no big deal, but that is not all. Some of us, we're not happy with that. You got to do more. You got to be more. If that is what satisfies you, that is fine. But at the end of the day, those kids that you're so focused on, they'll grow up, they have their own lives, they'll move on, be doing this, be doing that. And where does that leave you? You'll be sad and miserable. And then you'll be following them. No, they have their lives. You got to let them go. You have to have your own interest. Join a group, do something. Look, don't sit there and say, as for me, I don't know what I like. You need to work on it. There's all kinds of resources online. Just go and search for something and be doing these. There's simple tests, whatever, looking for stuff. Oh, what are your interests? Oh, me, I like photography or this. There's lots of classes out there. Some are free, some are inexpensive, some are expensive. Are you willing to pay? Don't take your life so lightly. You are important. You are precious. You are not just here to be somebody's side piece. So do this, do that, do that. No, both of you have to work together to grow in the marriage. Yeah. Then again, the question I ask is, are you willing to make that level of sacrifice, taking a back seat? Yeah. If not, sit down with your partner and have a frank discussion. You need to speak frankly that no, I need to do this. If I don't do it, I'll feel like my life supply, my lifeline, my breath is cut off, is choked. There's people who are sitting with passion, ambitions burning inside them that if they don't do it, it's almost like you've killed them. And then you see them walking around and they look so miserable. They look so whatever. And you go, wasn't this person that we attended their wedding 3-5 years ago? Look at her. She's become a shadow of herself. Something is going on. Something is not right. And she did not talk about it. She did not deal with it before she went into the marriage. Sister Joa says a lot of people need to renew their minds by deprogramming their dysfunctional mindsets, then acquire knowledge along with new coping skills and only apply with clear understanding to reprogram their mindset. Change is a part of life. We need to change because the olden times of the expectation being that a woman's place is only to do this or do that, it doesn't work. What are you teaching your children? Watching those dynamics, or a man speaking disrespectfully to his wife in the home, the son is also learning the same thing. The daughters think, oh, that's the way it is, so anybody can come along and talk to me, treat me anyhow, and it's all good. You know what? I strongly believe, I've come to believe that every day that you wake up and you are alive and breathing is an opportunity for you to learn something new to better yourself. Call it what you want. Some will say selfishness. You need to know how to groom yourself, how to brand yourself. What do you want? How are you showing up in life? Marriage is one of the places that is one of the spaces that you're showing up in life. What are you bringing? When we say what are you bringing to the table, maybe we're thinking mainly of money, but it's not all money. It's like, who are you? How do you want to be treated? How do you want to be loved? If you don't specify them, the people come and they think they can just come and take you for granted. Some people within our circle do not. This is the thing. I don't know if you're on earlier, but I mentioned that we are not a people given to hearing the truth or wanting to speak the truth. So those of us who do, you become public enemy number one. But I'd rather speak the truth and be, my conscience be free than pretend. There's a lot going on that the lessons that we have learned, we need to tell people, we need to teach them so they own it and live their life. I love this. Hello, thanks for joining us. Life's Dilemma. She says, I hope with time we will realize that marriage is just the icing on the cake. Your life's happiness doesn't depend on being married, as the pressure of our culture demands. Thank you for that. As a person, you need to be able to hold your own, whether you are married or not. Who are you? If you are in a bad marriage, it doesn't mean you should walk around being miserable. You have to be happy. Own it. So, yeah. And then the question that I ask is being a missus more important to you than fulfilling your life stream? Many women have to answer that question. Look, I know that there's a lot of pressure on men too, but I'm not a man. If there's any man on who wants to come and speak to the pressure that men face, I welcome that. But I'm speaking from the perspective of a woman because I am a woman and I see the kinds of things that go on. And it saddens me that we're in the year 2023. And when I get on social media, I see our women being disrespected, minimized, abused, treated like they are nothing. The other day, I saw a man, he was on TikTok talking to a panel, and he was saying that, you know, you women, the way you put each other on fighting with each other and using body parts to insult each other and whatever, you need to stop it because when we hear it, it's very disheartening. And I thought, wow, kudos to you for being brave to do that. Where are we going as a people? You see, are we people who are about being better? I remember I didn't live in Kwame Nkrumah's days. I think when he was overthrown, I was only 6, but I heard things like there was adult literacy, adult education. Since those times, has any government come with this plan that, of broad mass education, some basic life skills to help people, you know, place value on themselves? I always say on this platform that in life, your greatest asset is your mind. And so if you are in the 2023 and you come on social media insulting a man insulting women, have we made any progress as a people? So, yeah, I'll say it again. Is being a missus more important to you than fulfilling your life stream? Maybe you are somebody that you are ways with sewing and you want to set up this big, fashion designing, whatever, train people, you have these fabulous ideas in your mind. And then marriage comes and you go, oh, what am I going to do? Be brave, sit down and tell the man what your vision is. And somebody might well say, oh, you are saying all these visions and all that, but if she follows her visions and she ends up being lonely, blah, 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 you know what? If you understand that you're on this earth for a reason, marriage is just one of them. Not everybody is supposed to be married, but I don't think we got that memo in our culture. Because I know a lot of people here that I know that they are not married. You see them, they are happy people. They are living their lives. It's only us who've bought into that it has to happen. So if it hasn't happened for you, then you are nobody. You are nothing. De nada, if I'm saying the right word. So last point on this, is your partner open and flexible? Or does he expect you to give up your aspirations and dreams for the marriage? Listen, if a man expects you to give everything up, the man for you, he has a problem. He has a fragile ego. He's insecure. Maybe he's not worked on himself. Do you hear me? I think my Wi-Fi was. Any man who expects a woman to give up everything for a marriage, you need to reconsider. You seriously need to reconsider. Don't be so desperate. And I'll tell you this, if the person is not respecting you, even like sometimes, or yin and sabowa, don't say, oh, he'll change. It's not going to happen. What you see before the marriage is what you'll see after. So, as we say, shine your eyes and see well. Yeah. So, the last point that I'll go to is the role. So the link is in the chat if you want to come on. The role of the church and family. Has the church overstepped its role? Listen, I haven't lived in Ghana in years, but I do keep up and I hear a lot of things. You know, sometimes in these churches, they are the ones who are picking partners for you. And then I ask myself, so is it a matchmaking center now? What I know is that, you know, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be praying. Some of us didn't know that we weren't praying for any partner, Biara. You're supposed to be praying for your life partner. So how does somebody come in and tell you that, oh, go and marry this person? You know, and even sometimes they're making decisions. The family doesn't have a say. They want to pick. Listen, this whole issue of marriage is become somebody is doing it, so I have to do it. Oh, that one had a big marriage, so I also have to have a big marriage. Then we are doing the big engagement, then we are doing the white thing in church and all that. Can't we simplify life? Can't people just meet up with the family? You know, sure, nobody is saying don't have any big thing, but I'm saying that maybe the focus should be that you do the engagement. The engagement is the proper one, or the family, two families coming together to, you know, their son and daughter are getting together. Make that the big one. Then you do a simple thing. You go to church and sign. If you can do the engagement or whatever on the Saturday, and then the Sunday you go and bless it and sign. You don't have to do this big engagement and then do the big wedding and then go and do the reception. Let me read some comments before we go on. Mr. Adjoa says, majority of poor characteristics we see all around us tied to traumatic events, environment, and unhealthy attachment issues, different type of abuse, tolerating nonsense, and so forth. As for us, we do tolerate a lot in that community, and it's true. And when you start to speak up and say no, then they get you get labeled. But those who are labeling, especially even your own gender, the women coming at you, if they would sit back and think through it, they'll realize that, gee, I admire her for being brave to do that. But because of lack of self-awareness, they go on the other side and flip at you. Why are you changing the script that we've been given? Who are you to change it? This is how it has been. Tony says some men intentionally marry just to maltreat the woman. Oh, yes, because he grew up seeing his father beating his mother being cried every day. So it's like taking revenge on behalf of his mother by putting someone's daughter in danger. It is very sad, mommy. We need to check that part, people's background and all that. But this is the thing. You are maltreating, taking it out on somebody's daughter. What do they have to do with the situation? Why didn't you address your dad or get somebody to? Do you get what I mean? I understand what you're saying. The thinking is so warped. Oh, this is what I saw, so me too, I'll do it to somebody's daughter. And then that's all we know. Their mind hasn't been renewed. Their mind hasn't changed. And then you see, we go to church and we are doing here baba. Not everything is a generational curse. we bring it on ourselves because we don't stop these things in their tracks, and then it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. Yeah. So, and then what do you call it? In a relationship too, we are talking about the role of the church and family. If your family is not accepting of, it's not that sometimes it becomes difficult, a difficult call to make, because is it that you are going to say, okay, my family does not agree with it, so I'm not going to go ahead with it. Or you know in your heart that this is for me, so I'm going to go ahead with it. It's a very difficult call to make. But all that I can say is that you can, with us over here in the diaspora, two people meet, they say they are going to get married, they tell their family after. But ours, culturally, it's two families coming together. So sometimes if you go against, there's some things that our parents see that we don't see because they have the advantage of age, maturity. I don't know what it is that there's some red flag they notice and they are telling us, but we are deeply in love, so we don't listen. Some of the churches are setting conditions. So it's a fine call. You have to really, really think it through. And then, of course, red flags. I mentioned red flags before. And also, hello, Sister Aisha. Also, families, not churches, should be more involved. As churches are dictating to families. You know, we give too much power and too much authority to families, to churches to take over. And sometimes you see something, you know something, and you bring it up, and then they tar and they feather you. Yeah, I've been in that position. You are in a church doing all kinds of things, literally. Sorry. At the end of the day, a marriage that involves your own family, they turn around and they point fingers at you. And my son, who it involved, he came to me and he says, Mom, do you know what those people think about you? I go, oh, really? You're telling me? Thank you kindly. We are not correct. The things are behaviors, right? You see, I've always made this statement. I say we have the culture and we have faith. Maybe I think it's in this book somewhere. With us, we say culture and faith. The culture always wins out. This is unrelated, but let me give you a topic. The Bible says that, let me give you an example. I mean, the Bible says that rejoice with people when they are rejoicing. But with us, when you have something good going on with you and you are in a Christian setting, they won't rejoice with you and you see it on their faces. So which is winning? Is the word of God winning, or is it the culture of a neighbor? Think about it. We like sometimes I just think that we should even be careful how we say we are believers, because if you are not prepared to follow the letter to the T, then stop. Don't give me hypocrisy. Let's not go there. And I'm not perfect. I have my faults, but by golly, hypocrisy, lack of owning the truth is killing our community. And we don't realize it. And it's 2023, and we are sitting there at the low level, basically we is what we are doing. When people are progressing and trying to send doctors to the moon to look after people who are anyway, let me leave it there. And then when we talk about expenses, marriage again, we spend so much on a 1 day wedding, and then you don't think about the forever marriage after. This mindset, oh, they have somebody made a comment that, hey, this engagement, then you see the women in their tie, everybody has this tight corset fitting. I'm like, what is that? Is it a one size fits all thing, something that everybody has to do? Copy. Look, do yours simple and then sit your somewhere and live your life. Don't go by the school of public opinion, okay? And another thing too that you have to realize, and we need to speak this truth, is that not all pastors are marriage counselors. Sometimes you need to go find a real marriage counselor. It's good that church will counsel you, but how much? Does everything come out during that process? Mr. George says yes, because the ones who victims are the ones who settle for less, lack of self-confidence, are desperate, do not mind being someone else's puppet. So sometimes you need to do marriage counseling elsewhere. It's the truth. It's hard that sometimes you have to share your stuff with people in authority, and then it gets used against you. There's that too. So if you are wise, and how cheap we are not prepared to go and spend money somewhere to benefit from it. So the pastor will do the counsel, rushed 6 weeks, whatever it is, and it's done. But that's not all. There's even counseling that needs to happen after the marriage too. But for me, I'll say that if you are wise and you think you know of somebody else in the field, if you're a Christian in Mapakura, look for a Christian counselor who's focused on marriage, and go and see them. It does not have to be your pastor. So, and last but not the least, I'm going to advise you, forget the school of public opinion. We are people, we don't know ourselves. We are so run by what other people want, what other people say. Oh, think of others. So some men listen to their church leaders more than they listen to their husbands. That's a classic. So, public of school opinion, you need to tell yourself that every decision that I make, it's mine to make. I will deal with the consequences. It's not for anybody to come and tell you what to do. God put a mind in your head for a reason. Look, it's always good to seek wise counsel. I can go and talk to Tony. I can talk to Sister Ajua. I can talk to Sister Aisha. At the end of the day, I'll make my own choice. Maybe I'll pick one of them or I'll pick none of them. Yes, you can have situations where all three will come at you and be mad at you and they are not talking to you again. Says who? In this life, we have to agree to disagree. We have to let people be. If you are so angry and it bothers you, come and ask me, oh, I said this, how come this or that? Oh, yes, you said this and that. It seemed very good to me, but I opted for this because such and such. So I opted for Sister Ajua's advice. And then you go, oh, then you start showing attitude to Sister Ajua because it's not a competition. It's about me and not you. So anyway, these are some of the nuances. So with that, I finished saying all that I came to say. And I see that nobody came on, so I will go and do commercials. And let's see. Where am I? I'm looking for my commercial. Give me a sec. All right. So let's do this. On, not on. Sister Yaa'S Boateng Russell. She does a lot of health and wellness and also financial. She's been sharing videos recently about finances. The area of finances, financial literacy is so important. So what did I say? Sister Aisha says, Yehovah, thank you. I like your Yehovah, Sister Aisha. Sister Ajua says, realistically, fools cannot teach other fools, in my personal opinion. It's like the blind leading the blind, my sister. We need to seek knowledge, but we refuse to. So sadly, we're always behind. We're way back there trying to come forward, but it's not happening because we refuse to renew our minds. We read a lot in the Bible, Romans 12, is it to renew your mind or renew your mind? Or we say it, keke. We just say it. Now we leave church and we go and fight and carry on like nothing has happened. Okay, let me do this. So please follow her on her YouTube channel, subscribe, patronize her products, please. Sister Ajua does Abrabomunsem on Fridays. Yes, I believe it's at 3:30 Mountain Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern. And today she'll be doing a topic with Reverend Samuel Kosso, Marriage Talks. It comes on at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 1:30 my time. So watch out for that program. And Sister Aisha does not do programs, but she's a Juice Plus agent and also Avon. If you are in England, please patronize her products. She also has any number of kitchenware, other products that she's selling. She's showing them. They're on Facebook. she does these ads on Facebook. So if you are in her neighborhood, please contact her. She's on every platform supporting and doing the best she can to help everybody spread the good message out. There's Sage's Share, Miss Sage. If you watch Sister Adwodo on her program, she's always advertising the t-shirts, lovely t-shirts with Ghana flags, Africa flags. There's also shea butter programs. So sorry, shea butter, what do you call it, products and jewelry. So please contact her. Miss Sage, the Canadians are still on hold, eh? And there's lunchtime talks with Sister Awumrekua. She's in Britain. She comes on usually Fridays, but anytime, watch out for her. She's out there throwing out the bangers, lots of nuggets and just awareness of things going on in our communities. Sister Sika educates also. She's in Calgary, just south of me here. Very educative programs. Please patronize that platform. And there's Pastor Patience Edwards. She's an ASEA advocate. The ASEA products, they are very, very helpful for the body. She was telling a story in her last video about how somebody went to a funeral and people were just accosting her and say, hey, what did you do to lose all this weight? And they virtually trapped this person in a room, questioning her. But meanwhile, she has put the message out. For they hear of something, they are always the last in line because, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Anytime we have to buy a product, we think, oh, we're lining up somebody's pocket. So we think like we don't want to do it. You see, the stingy mindset is not helping us. So now, because of this lady, them physically seeing her, everybody's rushing to go and buy the product. Did you have to wait that long? Sad, ain't it? So ASEA, it fortifies the walls of the stomach. It helps with acid reflux, Crohn's disease. It helps the digestive system to work. Today I can't talk to work effectively. Hormonal balance, and it controls inflammation. As well, Pastor P is a tap agent. When you use her code Lady P, you'll get your discount. And she's a health advocate and a coach. Blue Ridges Coaching. Patronize her. I've done coaching with Pastor P. She is awesome. Tiggity boo, I'd say. Yeah. She'll help you to look at your situation and give you strategies to cope or to manage that situation so you can live your best life. We are people, when you talk about coaching or anything to do with whatever, oh, as for me, I don't need this. I'm okay. I'm this, I'm that. Are you okay? We're not willing to pay for anything. That is the problem that we have. But if you want to be better, you need to be prepared to fork out the money and get better. Yes, I'll park that right there. I hope I've not missed anybody. Oh, please, Angie's Talks. Please patronize her. She's a nurse, and she does a lot of health programs talking about different things, and you learn a lot from that platform. Last but not the least, go on Amazon and look for Reflection for My Thirsty Soul, The Beauty of a Woman's Heart. Own it. And then Refreshing for My Weary Soul. These are good books that will empower you, and you know what? Will do a lot for you. Own It is a guide to taking accountability and responsibility for your own life journey. In the community that we come from, we're always looking at others to do what we ought to do for ourselves. We feel so entitled. We go to church, but we don't want to work. And the Bible says, I'm going to quote my favorite scripture, go to the ant, you sluggard. You have to work with your hands. Nobody's going to bless the work of your hands if your hands are just like that. You need to work. So let's get to it. As well, my 5th book is coming out. A guide to being real and living life on my own terms. Now I have Sister Jo has been bothering me and giving me pressure, and I was laughing. I have the back cover, so let me see if I have to read it so it captures your it brings you in. So have you become all you ever wanted to be? Not who people say you could or should be, but the person you envision when you look into your future. The expectations of others can weigh us down and cause us to turn away from who we truly are. Our upbringing can keep us in a prison of doubt when we were never given the opportunity to speak up and ask questions about ourselves. My Unapologetic Self, A Guide to Being Real and Living Life on My Own Terms, is a unique book into how we can break free from the confines of self-doubt to become our authentic selves. With advice and insight from an author who lived it herself, you can confidently face the hard questions and become stronger in knowing the truth in their answers. Take control of your journey today and lay down the path ahead from the person who knows you best, you. Be your unapologetic self, a self guide to facing insecurity with confidence and living as one's authentic self with insight from the author who went through the journey herself. Now, how about that? Coming to Amazon this year. Okay, so there we have it. I hope that I've done justice to all the commercials. If I missed you, please, please don't. I'm laughing because I'm reading some comments. Don't mind me. Okay. Sister Adjoa says many people live their lives on hearsays. And she says, thank you for the promo. Much love to you too. No problem, Sister Aisha, you're welcome. And Miss Sage says, many thanks for the promo educative programs. Very much appreciated. Have a great weekend. You have a great weekend too. And Tony says, yes, many people can't forgive their own self when they realize that they could have humbled themselves to be branded and groomed by the experts without thinking that they knew everything. I like that. Woohoo! I cannot wait to get my copy. Congratulations, sis. Thank you so much. And Tony says, I can't literally wait to read this book, My Unapologetic Self. Thank you. Thank you. And then Sister Aisha says, Auntie Yaa'S, you are amazing. Facebook, thank you so much. You know what? We have various challenges in lives, and you need to rise up from your challenges and live your life. Yes. Marriage is beautiful. It is not everything. Sometimes when you are in it, there are struggles, and you as a person, you need to continue moving. I did it. So, hey, and I continue to do it. So, what are you going to do? Wallow, turn over, and play dead when you are still breathing? Put your foot in front of one foot in front of the other and keep moving. Do what brings you joy, makes you happy. Do it. So there we have it. We have talked today about demystifying some cultural and religious myths. Do we understand the requirements of marriage? Are we really prepared for marriage? And what is your vision for your life? Will marriage help you accomplish it? And of course, the role of the church and family. Has the church overstepped its role? So you know what? If you have young people watching you, because some of these messages, yes, indeed. Some of these messages, they are not for the old people like us. Some of us, the old people, we don't want to budge. We are stuck. This is how it is. What we learned in school is what we are moving in with. There's continuous learning. You got to be progressive. You got to move. You got to get ideas. Listen, watch all around. Yesterday, I was with a friend. She has my Nigerian friend, her 60th birthday is coming up in May. So she and I have been running around looking for the horse. Yesterday, we went to look for clothes in the mall. So we went to one mall, and then we came to the one closer to home. And we walked into this shop, and it was a Jamaican lady. So while my friend was trying on clothes, she was chatting with us. Do you know what she was talking to me about? About the markets. I hadn't even heard that Silicon Valley, the banks are crashing, whatever. This morning when I came on, I follow Forbes, so I get their information. So I was seeing things, and I'm like, oh, this is what the lady was talking about. Knowledge. She's on track. keeping on. And for me lately to have become more financial, whatever. So I was listening. It made sense. It didn't seem like, oh, blah. At first, my eyes would glaze over when you talk about things financial. I don't want to learn. But since I started that journey, I'm like, oh, okay. So all that she told me, I've seen it this month. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now because I hadn't read any financial news. We need to educate ourselves. Don't just be walking around, boom. You go to a gathering, you see some women, you say hello, and they just look at you. You know that nothing ain't going on there. There, yes. Yes, Sister Aisha, huh? Yeah, there's a lot going on. Even I listened to some guy and he was saying that, people think that when the stocks go down, it's going to recover like it did before. No, it's going to take a long time. Like, hey, there seems to be so much going on. Yeah. Tony says, Twin Time, Barry, Sai, and we're always left behind. That is our mantra. And we think we're okay. It's very sad. Oh, this is how it has been done. Blah, blah, blah. This won't work. And we throw things away. Keep the hard work, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, we'll be back next week. I forget what I told you we would do. I think we said something on marriage. Oh, okay, sorry. I shouldn't say next week. No, it won't happen next week. Next week is my birthday weekend. My birthday is on Friday, so there'll be no program. I'm not sure that there'll be a program. And I have my one of my grandkids. I have my grandkid too, so we'll be back the week after. But certainly, you know what? You can still send me my gifts. Thank you so much, okay? Please, the final thought that I'll leave with you is that you are an individual. You were brought on this earth. You had parents who gave birth to you. Maybe you've gone through school, whatever level that you got to, whatever you are doing right now, know that you came alone. You can be in love, meet somebody, want to marry, but your vision, your vision, your vision, your, oh, wow. Oh, no. Wow. I like the way you put it. I'm like, okay, what is she saying? That is like, yeah. Your vision. Don't let anybody stop you from living your best life. Marriage is a beautiful thing. African women endure too much in marriage. Marriage is not to be endured, it's to be enjoyed. If you are not enjoying it, you got to think through it. If you are walking into it and you know that this is going to be problematic, you need to ask yourself some questions. It goes both ways for men and women. Thank you, Miss Sage. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's only in our communities that it's scripted that you have to get married, especially women. And so we chase after it like our life depends on it. No, teach your girl child that she's valuable, place value on yourself, and demand that value when you go into any relationship. A man will respect you because of the value that you put on yourself. If you just sell yourself like 1 peso or 1 penny and all that, that is how they'll treat you. You are valuable, you are worthy. Okay? You have a voice. You are not a nobody. Somebody gave birth to you. You are a child of God. Why should somebody come and treat you like crap? You don't deserve that. You deserve the best. When you look in the mirror, smile at yourself and tell yourself that I'm worthy, I'm blessed, I'm beautiful. Nobody should minimize you. Nobody should diminish you. I'll leave it right here. Until next time. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Take care, okay? I appreciate you coming on and very interactive comments and your feedback. So we'll do this again on March 24th. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye. Pray for me this week, okay? Bye.